Virtually every man is a potential King Solomon.
It's nature, nothing can do about it. It's an idea God put into man.
Polygamy on its own is a social construct. It is nowhere in anybody's DNA to be polygamous.
I'm married. I cannot tell you that I've not gotten to a point where somebody else crossed my mind. I decided to remember the commitment I made to my wife. And that commitment supersedes the feeling you have.
Competition is healthy for business. If you come back home and your wife is giving you that headache, and instead of you to just carry your depression and go to your bed, or more, carry your phone, call your next girl, or more, go there, happiness there.
It's ojukokoro, it's just selfishness. I believe that you cannot keep two women happy at the same level. It's not possible.
If a woman knows that she has a competition, that if you give me headache, somebody else is there to give me happiness, she go behave.
Here are the prompts we'll be discussing on today's episode. Please step forward if you agree with the prompt. Monogamy is alien to African culture.
Let's go to history. Let's go to our background. Before civilization, before the coming of the white man, any family you enter, if you enter 10 families, 8 were polygamous. Whether you like it or not.
Especially the man can cater for them.
Yes. No, you can cater because then it was all about land. You are given land based on number of wives you have and children you have. This monogamy issue came about with the coming of the white man and religion. They started teaching of Christianity, one man, one wife.
Check. Who are the ones that are always against more than one wife? Religion. Our tradition was never against it. So if you marry traditionally more than one wife, there is no problem. But when it comes to the church, it's a problem.
Can the disagreeers please step forward?
I think that the African culture encourages a man to have multiple wives. But I also still think that if you trace it back in time, you will still find some certain lineage or families who are desired to just stick to one wife.
I think that when people talk about culture, they just talk about it like it's this static thing that doesn't evolve. Culture is the way of life of a group of people. And if you look at our culture right now, our culture is not really, is no longer polygamist as it used to be.
Why?
If you have a daughter and your daughter's husband takes another wife, would you agree to that?
Those that they are allowed because of the coming of religion.
Those days.
Under Christianity, as Christians. If they were not Christians, what if they were not Christians?
Even families who are not Christians.
No, it's a lie.
Culture is not static. Because when everybody talks about culture, they think culture is what was done in the past. But I'm saying that culture evolves. Yeah, African culture has evolved over time. There was a time when we used to be known as twin killers. In the past, they say our culture was killing twins. But because our culture has evolved, it is no longer our culture. And that's what I mean by culture evolves. Sample majority of the families in Nigeria, you find out that monogamy takes the lead. So why would you say that is our culture?
I like the way you talk because you always say majority. Most of us, we have done researches, have one-on-one research. In every theory, can never have 100%.
Exactly.
Let's just say be sincere. 70% of African family are polygamy.
Yes, but it's not alien to us.
Who made these laws that make the so-called culture? So can they not change it again?
Was it changed?
They have the right to change because they made these cultures. They have their reasons. And now they're saying that these reasons are no longer beneficial to mankind. They can decide to change it. Am I correct? What are you saying? Culture is based on the experience, what they've experienced, and they've seen it that it doesn't favor everybody. So they have the right to change it.
This discussion in context now. Was it changed by our forefathers or by the colonials? Did they look at our forefathers, look at it, we don't like this, let's change it.
Let's move it.
All the whites say, no, this is not good, don't do it, marry one wife. The white brought it and said this is not good, marry one wife.
No white should ever force anybody to marry one wife. It is families that decide that they want to marry one wife.
They want to call indoctrination.
I'm not saying that now. Families have sat down and said that, okay, polygamy doesn't really benefit us. Me as a mother, if my daughter's husband says he wants to take a second wife, I will not allow her to continue in that marriage.
There were people like her who thought like this before religion came.
The 30%. The 30%.
Exactly,
Yeah, the 30%.
yes.
Pause. More than 30% of you guys are actually not subscribed to the channel. Please hit the subscribe button for some good luck. We're trying to get to 100K now. Back to the video.
On that basis, it wasn't alien. It was not that alien, but
yes.
it was not
majority.
like, it was not generally favored.
Please step forward if you agree with the prompt. Monogamists will become polygamists if it was not frowned at by the society.
They say human wants are insatiable. The more you have, the more you want. Virtually every man is a potential King Solomon. The fear of having more women, I'll go to hellfire, is a sin, society will frown. So that if the fear is greater than your desire, you will respect the fear and respect yourself. That is why you see some men, they marry one wife, but behind closed doors, they are living a double life. They cheat because they know that the society frowns at them making it public. So they decide to do it secret.
Sociologists will tell you that if you want to get man at his pure state, remove religion. The religions will come and tell you, God this, God that, God that. What of that those that didn't believe in God? I don't know, living a pure life. My brother, if not for what people will say law, people will be polygamous by nature.
The kings, then, even now, kings are polygamous.
Yes, polygamous.
Because
It's
I feel
allowed.
they are just like, they are the apex. At the top.
Yeah.
They are not afraid of what other people will say.
Nobody
or
says
what other
anything.
people will do.
You don't even
Because
say
nobody
anything.
will even say.
You won't even say anything.
And that is when you will know their true nature.
That's the true nature. So make an average man a king and see what will
Yes,
happen.
make an average man
And
a
a king, he will do the same thing.
The other person was saying, okay, he felt something for the other person, but because of the commitment he made to his wife. What if the law permits?
He will try it.
Okay. Or maybe the belief that you were born into. What if it permits you to do
And get away with
otherwise?
it.
What if you could convince your wife and she supports it?
You go ahead and do it.
Won't you do it?
Abba.
You will do it. Because why? The barrier has been removed and your true nature
Has been displayed.
has been displayed.
Can the disagreeers please step forward?
If you take out religion and society and you look back to the past, you see how people who are married to just one person, when you look at the stakes and you look at the consequences of your actions, it will inform your decision. When you look at it, that you have a wife, you've built something really, really beautiful, you are enjoying the companionship you have beautiful kids, and then you now want to start investing your emotions elsewhere. When you look at all those things, forget about religion, forget about society now. You just want to keep building that stuff you're building. You've gotten to the roof level of your house. You've seen how beautiful it is. You just need to go and paint the outside, and then you now want to start laying foundation elsewhere. When you think about all those things, I still think that some people will still want to stick to their wife and not be polygamists. That's what I think.
I agree with him entirely, because even when it was acceptable, in fact, encouraged to have more than one wife, and when it was even beneficial, there were countless people who had just one partner and their children because they thought about it and it was a better decision for them. And even till today, why are we saying that polygamy is discouraged? Because in a major religion in Nigeria, it's encouraged. It's accepted. So if you marry two wives there or more than one wife, nobody is going to do anything to you. Even in that religion, a lot of them do not take two wives or multiple wives.
Exactly.
Because it doesn't make sense for them.
It's because of one economic situation of the country. Most of them were friends. It's not because of doesn't even then. Yeah, it doesn't. Not because
it doesn't
of.
have to be economic.
No. It's like give them riches.
Bro, there are villagers in remote areas who have just one wife. It's not, and there are rich people who have just one wife. It's not about the economic situation.
An average Christian person who grew up in a Christian family and had a one father, one mother's kind of system would want to follow that way. Someone that also grew up from a Muslim family, seeing his father with more than one wife, would also want to grow up with that mentality and see it as right. Okay, let's say we remove religion, we remove societal influence, and remove ancestral and all that stuff. Let's keep the average man there. Let's say on my own now, I'm not influenced by anything. This is just me now. Are you telling me that I will not that instinct of, you understand?
Because you are polygamous in
Nature.
your thinking, you cannot assume that everybody is like that. And also, because you have decided to act on what you feel, doesn't mean that every other person will do the same.
Men are polygamous by nature.
You guys are surprised I'm here, Abi?
I'm surprised.
So I'm here because, yes, inherently
Like that.
have that tendency.
That instinct.
I'm married. I cannot tell you that I've not gotten to a point where somebody else crossed my mind. I decided to remember the commitment I made to my wife. That is the whole point of me being here and the whole conversation we're having. Love is a commitment. You've chosen to be with this person, and that is what you're going to do.
So you personally believe that love is not a feeling, it's a commitment.
And that commitment supersedes the feeling you have. For instance, your wife is pregnant, she's cranky, she doesn't want you to touch her at all. In that moment, you will still decide to love her. You won't decide to go and play away match. That at that point is not about what you feel now. You might have all the arousal or everything erection in the world, but you've chosen to love that woman. You love her and be patient with her till she's ready. That's what I'm saying. So I'm not saying that there is no feeling in love. There is feeling in love, but commitment supersedes it.
Let me use myself for example. I know men do kiss and tell. If people get to know that I slept with 3-4 girls, what would the society do? They will hail me, guy, na man you be, this egoistic kind of feeling. The society will clamor for me and give me that support that, yes, guy, you're a man, one more you try, that kind of a thing. But let a woman mistakenly open her leg for just one guy that is not in any way related to her, either in marriage or anything. That guy is loose, that guy is this, you understand?
So it's society that contributes to...
Yeah, that's why I mentioned society. First and foremost, I mentioned the society because society always play a key role in things that affect our way of life.
I believe men are polygamous by nature, simply because it's nature, nothing can do about it. It's an idea God put into man.
I disagree.
Why do I say that? One of my favorite stations I like watching GoTV is Najo Wild. Animals live by instincts. Now, if these animals can maintain that polygamy by nature, so I can control so many hens
and sleeps with them randomly.
We have grown to know the wrong and the right. Based on New Testament, Christ says, one man, one wife.
The original design was Adam and Eve, right? And God created Eve out of Adam and said, this is the bone of my bone and the flesh of my flesh. When man fell, everything you are saying is as a result of the fall. You have great men, Abraham, our patriarch, David, Solomon, all of them. But what Jesus came to do was to restore us back to the original design of God, which is what Adam and Eve, one man, one wife.
Can the disagreeers please step forward?
In life, in order for you to be happy, you need balance. In order for you to be balanced, you need order. And where there's no order, there's no peace. You can't have two captains on a ship. God did not create men to be polygamous in nature. If he had done so, why would he say adultery or fornication is a sin?
It is not that you don't feel it. It is already in your nature to feel it, to be with another woman.
There's nowhere in anybody's DNA to be polygamous. Polygamy on its own is a social construct. If someone gets you angry and then you feel like, oh, I feel even kill this person right now, would you say that you are murderous in nature? No, I do not agree with that.
We have that tendency. We all have that tendency. And I mentioned also that I myself have been in tough situations, but I've decided, to stay true to the commitment I made to my wife with the help of God. And I think that is for both sexes. It doesn't have to be narrowed to men alone. It's also for women as well.
Variety is the spice of life.
I believe variety is the spice of life. Let's start from ourselves, because charity begins at home, right? Can you wear one clothes for 1 week? Is it possible?
It's possible, but it's not pleasing.
Can you just eat one food without having issues?
No,
Is it possible?
There will be issues. Your body will react to it.
Thank you. This one is not something you argue about. There must be variety in life. Even look at these guys, the rich guys have cars. Today they drive this car, tomorrow they change this car. The flex. What are you talking about?
Like cars. We have different kinds of cars. Let's say particular Benz. Every year, they keep bringing out different models, and I would keep bringing out, even phones, keep bringing out new models, iPhone 15, iPhone 12, iPhone, all that. If those things apply to other aspect of life, what about us? What about our own choices?
In fact, the Creator created things in different ways.
Varieties.
Yes, varieties.
Even Eve got tired of eating one particular food, she now asked Adam to eat that apple. My name is Kingsley Wankwo, and I support polygamy. There's this thing that competition is healthy for business. If you come back home and your wife is giving you that headache, and instead of you to just carry your depression and go to your bed, or more, carry your phone, call your next girl, or more, go there, happiness there. So if a woman knows that she has a competition, that if you give me headache, somebody else is there to give me happiness, she go behave. There's this trend on Twitter of a woman that said that she cannot stress herself to cook for her husband. But when there's this saying of she wakes up 5 o'clock early in the morning to cook for the husband, maybe they donated 1.something million for her. People were hailing her. People supported her because she was fighting to keep her mind, because she knows that if she doesn't do it, she will lose the man. Competition.
Even human being, there are varieties. Among the blacks,
Yes,
that
black,
chocolate,
white,
fair, white, black,
different,
even the
different,
whites,
different
even among the Caucasians, there are different Caucasians. There are so many, so you must have variety, whether like it or not.
Can the disagreeers please step forward?
Variety is the spice of life, but I do not believe that it has to do in committed relationships. If you can take out your time, if you're going to get into a marriage or a committed relationship, then why are you looking for variety? You could have just stayed single. My name is Ada Ngozi, and I'm supporting monogamy. I believe that monogamy is the major, I think it should be the only way. That's my own opinion, though. I think it is the easiest, it is the best. I'll take monogamy anytime.
Your mindset determines your personality. If you feel variety is the spice of life and you're going to tag that to polygamy, you're missing the biggest point. When you're talking about variety, have you forgotten the consequences? Maintenance. The more you choose, the more you need to maintain. My name is Atimo Ahiri Mona Lisa, and I came from a polygamous home. So when my father died, the funeral, this book where you get to write the names of the children, our names were mentioned, but my mother's name was not mentioned as the wife, and our pictures were not shown. It was the pictures of the first wife's children. And most especially the properties. I didn't get anything, and my father was a very wealthy man.
All the things you guys mentioned, it's totally different from marriage. Like the Bible said, you need to leave your father and mother and cleave to your wife. That cleaving means that you guys become one flesh. You cannot compare that to objects, the things that you're not attached to. And for marriage, you have to keep discovering each other. You find ways to spice up that marriage. So I believe that you cannot keep two women happy at the same level. It's not possible, because it's just impossible to be one flesh with two different people. You're going to favor one over the other.
If you check the people that frown upon polygamists, they are Christians based on religious beliefs, because of Christ said one man, one wife. But apart from that, check any other reason for anybody that disagrees. There's no other reason. You made mention of the Bible.
Yeah.
So let's go down to the Bible.
Okay.
In the book of Deuteronomy 21, verse 10, marrying of the captive, when you go to war and you defeat your enemies,
Yes.
you okay wives
And children.
and you capture anything you...
Animals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which was what Abraham gave as tithe. Those things you get from them. Yeah. So when you get their men and their women and their kids, you can marry those women as captives. The Bible didn't say when a single man goes to war. It said when men go to war. And I believe people that go to war are men that are married and all that. So when you go to war and you come back victorious, when you capture those women and you marry them, did the Bible not know that you are married already?
Just to say this, the Bible in itself is there also for our reference. Okay. You can describe something, but you're not necessarily prescribing.
On a broader way. Some that
Yes.
don't believe on that.
I'm not saying that if I have a nanny in my house,
Yes.
like Abraham did, I'll go and sleep with her. It's a description of what happened and what led to where we are now.
Yes.
But they're not prescribing it that should be your way of life.
You have your whole singlehood to be trying out different variety of people or, I don't know, sex. But when you decide to commit to one person, then you have no business with variety anymore.
Sex is the main reason people want to be polygamist.
I totally agree on that some men go into polygamy because of sex. Even in Igbo lands, the traditionalists, they marry because of sex. It happened in my mom's family. He saw this fine woman. He said, oh, I like this your daughter. But then, then they uphold this law very well. You don't touch until you're married. And he married this girl. And after having his way with the girl, he has married her. Yes, I've seen you finish. Problem started. When we researched, we found out that the man never loved this lady. He just went because of her artificial beauty, and he's gotten what he wanted and no more respect for her.
Most marriages suffer from sexual dissatisfaction. So they go out, seek other partners. So I think a lot of people go into polygamy because of sex.
Okay, why I actually support the notion is because let's look at today's world that we are in today. If you remove sex from relationship, you notice that many relationships will die. And another thing again is that I come to understand that humans are insatiable. There's this impression that people say, oh, a fat girl tastes sweeter, a slim girl tastes better, sleeping with older people, sleeping with pregnant women. People just want to explore that dark side of their mind. Even look at sex products. Look at porn, every other thing. The way people react to these things, you will know that people are just crazy about sex.
Can the disagreeers please step forward?
I think for me, it's ojukokoro. It's just selfishness and greed. So yours can play out in any way. It can be sex, it can be that you are not connecting with your wife properly. Maybe your colleague at work is on the same wavelength as you are and you just feel a certain connection with that person. It can be money. It can be anything.
I have met some polygamists and I've heard about some. And I think one thing that they all have in common is that they do not just have wives. Some of them even have concubines and mistresses. So sex is not really a major reason why they would go ahead and bring another woman into their home because they have multiple. I disagree that sex is a major reason why polygamy still exists.
You see, everything that plays out has remote cause majorly, whether you like it or not, whether you like dance around, no, is sex. There may be other factors. Those days, you are given a chief tattooship in the, most probably in the eastern side, based on the amount of land you have, amount of children you have, determines you are the chief. But even at that time, some of them still lost. Read a book by Eme Cheta, Joy of Motherhood. Why did the guy went for that second wife? Lost.
You can love multiple people equally.
I personally believe you can actually love two people equally. The reason why some people get to choose does not lie with their emotion. It might be factors outside their feelings.
I totally agree. You could love different people for different reasons, and you could also love them equally. Love is a feeling. You could have it for different people. But when we talk about marriage, marriage is not always about love. It is commitment. It is a choice. When it comes to commitment, you choose who you stay committed to.
Can the disagreeers please step forward?
If I have 2 wives or 3 wives now, each of those wives, the way they'll be treating me, they don't treat me the same way. They don't love me the same. So in retrospect, I cannot give them back the same way. It's just like a give and take. What you give to me is what I give back to you. So if those 3 wives are giving me different kind of loving, they should not be expecting the same kind of results.
I think that for me, romantic love, it is not possible.
It's not possible.
Yes, because you have to cleave, you have to be joined to one person.
That's in marriage.
If you're in a relationship or you're dating, you have marriage in view, you also cannot split yourself into multiple places equally. It's not possible.
And giving them the same kind of treatment,
Yes,
because it's not even possible, yeah.
I don't think it's humanly possible in a committed romantic relationship because of the many aspects to it. Sharing your time, your energy, your emotions, and devoting it to one person. I don't think that you can replicate that and give it to another person and it to be equally balanced. It's not possible. Yes.
Thank you very much. Yes. Give one greatness to each other. So
Glad to meet you. Glad to meet you.